Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and you tuned in for another classic. In this video, basically, I want to just reinforce your championship mentality and to let you know that if you've been consistent, you've been determined, you've been persistent, you've endured through the challenges, and you continue to persevere every day. If you keep up these positive, good habits and traits, characteristics, at some point you're going to reach your goal and objective. It's inevitable. It's not about if, it's more about when. All right. So a lot of you have been putting in work and you are a lot closer than you may think. In this physical earth and just the material world that we live in, sometimes you don't easily get access to see the daily progression that you really are making. A lot of the times when you're in the process and the journey of doing something, we usually are, familiar with how the overall picture should look when the goal is achieved. But sometimes that daily process, when you are building that complete picture, you can get lost in the sauce. You can get lost in the monotony of the daily routine and whatever it is that you're being consistent at to reach your goal. Maybe it's a certain type of training that you're doing. A lot of it is keeping a good mindset and keeping a good attitude, keeping your emotions positive, having a favorable outlook and perspective on your own life, keeping your own self-esteem and your self-confidence, your self-image, keeping that positive, healthy, and keeping that high. When you see yourself in the mirror, what is it that you see? Do you respect that person? Do you trust that person? Is that person a leader? When that person gets challenged, can that person endure? The last thing that was a trial and tribulation that you've, experienced in this life, how did that person respond to that? So these should be the questions that we ask ourselves when we look in the mirror, or at least these are the questions that I ask myself when I'm looking in the mirror. Who is this person that I'm looking at? Am I looking at the representative or am I looking at the real man? So this stuff is very important, and just being self-aware, self-conscious, and self-analytical, self-critical, just evaluating ourselves, our strengths and weaknesses. Very, very important for you to do on your everyday journey, just to get an update on yourself. Because as I once heard the great Phil Jackson say, and I'm kind of paraphrasing his quote, but last year's championship has nothing to do with this year. So although we may have achieved something in the past, every day we got to wake up and get the job done. It's like if you got car insurance, just because you paid the car insurance for last month, don't mean that when the bill shows up this month, you don't have to pay for it. So every day, just like with the car insurance every month, we have to reevaluate our championship mind and win again. The thing that was a weakness yesterday, or the thing that, may have challenged us today, maybe it was a certain kind of weak emotion we had. Or maybe we, realized something that we did, regarding an interaction that we had with somebody. And maybe we were in the wrong. Maybe there was some kind of a debate or dispute, some kind of verbal confrontation. And, after evaluating the situation when you got by yourself, maybe you made a mistake somewhere, or maybe the other person made a mistake. But in other words, you want to be that judge and jury of your own life. Very, very important. So what I want us to think about, regarding just the consistency, the Boston Celtics came to my mind and how they won the NBA championship 2024. But it made me think back to 2018 when they got to the conference finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it went to a game 7 in Boston. That same game that LeBron got dunked on by Tatum. But it was this playoff run where Tatum and Brown and some of the supporting cast, some of them, I don't know if Horford was there then. I remember they had Marcus Smart, but that core group of guys, they were there. Tatum, Brown. I don't know if Horford was there at that time. But this is when they were young and they were getting their initial experience going deep into the playoffs and understanding, what's going to be required to win the championship. And they got very close. But of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers ended up winning and they went on to the NBA Finals. But, Boston got close that year, 2018. So time goes on. They starting to mature. They starting to age, Tatum and Brown, understanding the game better, understanding what they both are good at, what they both may be weak at, and how they can complement each other. Because people, we're trying to get them to bump heads and say, oh man, well, such and such is Batman and such is Robin. So a lot of that ego and, trying to play them two against each other. But I do like how they stood tall and continue to, be good teammates and compliment each other instead of, worrying about what the media and other people were saying as far as, well, who's the leader of the team and, all these other things. It's more about just getting on the field or getting on the court and putting in the work and just using your situational awareness, whatever is required at the moment. You do that, and whatever man is on, that's who's on. But going back to Boston, they lost to Cleveland. They were maturing. And then, of course, in 2022, they got there against Golden State. They played against Golden State. In that playoff run, they put out a lot of good teams. I remember they shut down Kevin Durant in Brooklyn. And I remember they beat Giannis. They shut him down. So they played pretty good. But when they got to the championship, got the experience, but it was the first time, they were in the championship together. So, Golden State ended up getting a win, but yet they got one level closer. So remember, they lost in 2018 to Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals. Then they got back to the NBA championship, but then lost to Golden State in 2022. And then, of course, we know last year, Tatum got hurt in Game 7 in Boston against Miami. He hurt his ankle, and Miami ended up winning and going to the championship, and they didn't get a chance. So in other words, like, they kept getting closer and closer and closer every year, right? And then finally this year they have their breakthrough where they end up beating the Dallas Mavericks and winning the 2024 championship. So I said all that to say your life is going to be like the Boston Celtics. You may not get the big business contract early on when you first start your business. Maybe those first couple of years you're going to have some, financial trials and tribulations, but you just started the business. So it's no point in beating yourself up. You're going to be patient with yourself. But it's more about growing the business, the experience you're going to learn, and then you'll get into those first initial phases of making money. But it's really going to be more about learning and that apprenticeship phase that's going to come with you, in your early elementary stages of being an entrepreneur. It's not about making money real quick. It's really about learning because, we in this for the long haul. We in this for the long game. We're not looking at it like we're going to be dead in 5 or 10 years. Like, no, we're going to be on this earth for quite a while. So there's nothing wrong with being patient and learning something and getting the reward later on, instead of being like some of the young brothers today in the streets, who a lot of them perceive 30 years old as being like 50. But going back to my key point is that your life is going to be like the Boston Celtics. So just be patient with yourself and you'll have your time. And it'll be a certain divine timing, when it's your season of success. But don't trick yourself off the streets, man. Like, do your best to not let, your lower emotions get to you and do your best not to get discouraged. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is this. So I want you to pay attention to this image that you see on the screen right here, because this is a key example of, championship psychology and the fact that there are no shortcuts. And you may think that taking a shortcut is, going to make something easy for you. But at the end of the day, you're really only going to cheat yourself and you're going to cheat your family, your friends, and your descendants. Okay. So in this image, we can see we got some brothers, look like they training for some type of athletic team. And they may be running either suicides or running some type of drill on the field. But what we can see here is that obviously the guys were supposed to run back and actually touch the yellow line with their foot and then sprint back to the other side, right? So we can see this group of men down here, they actually did that. Like, they all touched the line, all right? And then now they're sprinting back. But we have this gentleman right here towards the edge of the screen where, he went down, but he didn't actually touch the yellow line. So he wanted to cheat and try to take a shortcut and hurry up and run back. Now, does he think that this is going to help him make the team? Possibly. Does he think that this is going to save him energy? Possibly. But what I would tell this brother is that he's cheating himself, and there are no shortcuts. You cannot speed this thing up. You can't cheat the process. Not if you're going to get it the organic way. It's like growing fruits and vegetables. If you're trying to get some organic, healthy fruits and vegetables, that's not going to destroy the chromosomes and the genetics of the person that consumes the food, and and alters the genetics of their offspring when they have children. If you're looking to get real organic food, then you can't cheat the process. You got to grow the food in a time frame that it naturally grows. But if you want something unhealthy, and you want to do some kind of bioengineering, and you want to grow it real fast, then when it starts to alter your genetics and your chromosomes, then this is the cost of trying to cheat and take a shortcut. So it's really all about just the championship mentality of not cheating yourself and not being in a rush and being patient with yourself. Remember, you're being patient and you're waiting on yourself. You're not waiting on the Almighty. You're not waiting on some other human being. You really are being patient and waiting on yourself, because whatever it is that you need for your success, whether it's an item, whether it's a certain community of people, whatever it is, it already exists here on this earth. So you just got to do the things to prepare yourself so when that opportunity presents itself, you can seize it. All right. So that's the whole point about you being patient. You're really being patient and waiting for yourself, because a lot of us, we think that we're ready to go into that realm of success. But if we knew everything that it really comes with, maybe we would take a little bit more time and be patient before we so quick to run through that door. Because a lot of people that go through that door, and and there's impatience involved, and it may have been not their time, but they forced themselves in there, then they don't have a long period of being in the realm of success. They have a quick run and then they up out of there, kind of like brothers in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may have gotten into the drug game and make some money, and run your economics up, and I get that and all that. But at the end of the day, it is a form of cheating and taking a shortcut. So there will be sorrow added to it. And your life within that realm will be short-lived. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the synthetic, apple, or, the imposter tomato. It's like, yeah, it'll grow overnight, but there's no sustenance to it. And you're really just cheating yourself. So this is the importance of, as I said, just being patient with yourself. Just fall in love with the journey or the process of becoming your highest version of yourself in this earth. Learning what it is you're here for, learning what skills you have, and what innate qualities you have that you can use to achieve that goal, and just, getting the fruits and the benefit of it. You know what I'm saying? It's really that simple. But yeah, a lot of this stuff, man, is just not getting discouraged, not getting discouraged, and having a positive image of yourself, and whatever it is you need to do to keep yourself encouraged, as long as it's not harming yourself or harming another person, and you're not breaking any kind of laws and causing problems, then I say do it, man. Some people may like having a wine cooler every now and then. Some people may like having them a joint or a blunt, whatever it is. Some people may, go to a library and just read. Whatever it is that you need to keep yourself encouraged, and it can, reinforce your self-esteem, to keep you satisfied with yourself, to keep you in the game. I recommend you do that. Even if it's something as simple as, it could be going to Papa John's and getting a pizza. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what it is. It could be going to the gas station and getting some Nerds or some Skittles or something. But whatever it is that makes you feel satisfied in this life, in this space and time, and you can enjoy it at that moment, you engage in that, because the challenges that you're going to face every day are going to make you want to cheat, just like this man on the screen. And it's going to make you want to rush and speed up the process and hurry up and get the money, or hurry up and get the relationship that you want, or whatever it is, whatever circumstance it is you want in this life. It's going to make you want to rush into that. But I'm telling you, man, it's going to be better to play the cut and just be patient and wait your time, and wait for the right signs and indicators to show up, But it's really about working on yourself every day, man, because the moment going to come, the opportunity is going to come. It's just, are you going to be prepared? So we either going to be prepared like these brothers that's actually running the full lap and they hitting the yellow line and running back, or we going to cheat, like this gentleman at the edge of the screen that we see right here. And this is the distance between winning and losing, as you can see written on the screen. Remember, like I said, a lot of y'all are a lot closer than you think. This is how close you are right here. You see that written on the screen? The distance between winning and losing. Your goal and your destination of the perfect relationship, the perfect business, whatever circumstance or reality you want to experience in this life that's going to bring you joy and satisfaction, so-called happiness. That is this goal line. You may be this far from it, but if you cheat or try to take a shortcut, become impatient, become impulsive, then you'll destroy your opportunity of getting there, not even knowing how close you really were. If you get discouraged and quit and you crash out, you know what I'm saying? You pull a Julio Fulio, engaging in, unnecessary conflicts, that may have been about something that could have initially been solved, not knowing how close you really were. Julio Fulio could have been close to, having his breakthrough as a recording and performing artist. You know what I'm saying? He could have been very close. It was probably already songs on his hard drive that he had created that he was about to release, and some of the people was going to rock with it. And it may have not even had anything to do with no beef, because the brother was talented. As I said on the other video, he's a great writer. But not knowing how close he was, he crashed out. You know what I'm saying? So this is how important it is, man. So y'all just think about that. Stay tuned. We out.